Apply for registration if you will be 14 years and older by October 31st, 2022 and have never been registered. Apply for change or correction to your registration information such as names, date of birth and occupation. Apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. Apply for a replacement ID card if your ID card was lost, stolen, damaged or destroyed. You must bring along original documents to support your application. Don't delay. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area today. For more information, visit www.gcom.org.gy. Follow us on Facebook at Guyana Elections Commission or contact us on 225-02779 or 223-9653. Email pro@gcom.org.gy.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burmese 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Guyanese are still clueless about the cost it will be billed by ExxonMobil to transport the gas via a pipeline from the Liza Phase 1 and 2 fields in the Stabroek Block to the Wales power plant on the west bank of Demerara. This is the case as the Gas to Energy project manager, Mr. Friedrich Crispin, refused to field questions on this critical aspect of the deal during a public consultation hosted by the oil company yesterday. The consultation was hosted at the Umanayana in Kingston, Georgetown, specifically to hear the public on the environmental impact assessment recently submitted to the Environmental Protection Agency. However, both the oil company and the government have been silent on the cost to transport the gas, even though some experts believe that the feasibility of the project hinges on this charge. At the meeting on Wednesday, Crispin, while responding to a question from Kaieteur, made it clear that the transportation cost is not in any way associated with the environmental impact assessment, and he will therefore not answer. Back in 2018, the Inter-American Development Bank had partnered with the state to conduct a feasibility study of the planned offshore natural gas pipeline, which was initially pegged at $900 million, but now stands at $1.3 billion. As the government contemplates the pros and cons of setting up a national oil company managed by a strategic partner, some industry analysts believe the country should quit while it is ahead on this route. Mariana Zepeda, Latin American analyst at strategic market intelligence firm Frontier View, is one who holds this view. She warned that a state-run oil company could expose Guyana to the risk of corruption, while adding that it does not necessarily prevent the dreaded oil curse. The oil curse describes the political and economic dysfunction that occurs when leaders fail to properly manage and invest oil revenues. She recalled that the government signed a production sharing agreement that is in favor of Exxon and its partners, Hess Corporation and China National Offshore Oil Corporation. To strengthen its position vis-a-vis the current players, the analyst agreed that the government will need to diversify its management of the industry. And in other news, a new parking shed at the Ministry of Legal Affairs and Chambers of the Attorney General's office, located on Carmichael Street, Georgetown, is estimated to cost almost 2 times the price of a turnkey home at Perseverance on the east bank of Demerara. According to a Legal Affairs Ministry advertisement, the engineer estimated that the project to cost $8.5 million. Sources said that the ministry is tearing down the old shed and is replacing it with a bigger one to accommodate more vehicles. Still, the source said the estimated amount is ridiculous. It was also explained that the current shed has a low roof that is damaging large vehicles. The current structure is supported by at least 20 2x4 posts cemented to the ground and standing at an estimated height of at least 10 feet. As the ministry embarks on this project, it should be noted that the money, which was stated as the estimated cost, can build a 20 by 30 foot turnkey home with inside toilet and bath facilities and still have a minimum of $3 million remaining. In other news, over 100 persons have signed a petition demanding that the Public Service Credit Union call an emergency general meeting within 14 days to discuss the removal of Chairman Trevor Benn through a no-confidence motion. Benn was voted out of the post just over a week ago and has refused to step down, stating that the motion was done illegally and without merit. Benn, who was accepting signatures on Hatfield Street Avenue opposite the credit union's office, said that the petition exercise was being conducted on the instruction of credit union members. He noted that the petition exercise is consistent with the rules set out for the credit union and that the holding of the emergency meeting is provided for under the Cooperative Societies Act. A number of credit union members expressed solidarity with Benn while calling for fresh elections. They claimed that since Benn's intervention, service and benefits at the credit union have improved significantly. And moving on, Region 10 Chairman Mr. Darren Adams has flagged a monthly rental fee of $1 million to store drugs for the town when adequate space is available for the construction of a new bond at the health center in Amelia's ward. It was during the PNCR weekly press conference on Tuesday that the chairman highlighted the issue. The chairman said that other agencies were not invited to bid for the contract to store the drugs as the council waived the tender requirement. More importantly, however, Adams argued that the rental fees could be channeled to extend the current facility and provide the necessary storage. We were told that the contract for the rental of the storage bond, initiated in September of 2021, was rented up to December 2021 and then renewed again in 2022. He explained that the central government has been ignoring representations by the elected representatives of the council and making their own determinations about the needs and resources to be provided to the region. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 8 in Guyana. We will resume shortly after the break.
Nothing in life is free, but the MyDigiCell app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the MyDigiCell app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
Back, let us continue with the news. As part of his contribution to the proposed amendments to the Representation of the People's Act, GECOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander is offering the use of a biometric system to improve the voting procedures associated with elections. The opposition representative is suggesting the technology to ensure that all persons who cast a ballot during elections do not do so in the name of deceased persons, migrants, and other absent individuals. Alexander said that the mechanism will be part of the suggestions being offered in relation to the election law reform. The issue of dead persons being on the voters' list has long existed. The APNU-AFC has argued strongly that the voters' list is bloated with names of deceased persons as those names remained on the National Register of Registrants. This situation, they maintain, has caused irregularities. For instance, at the 2020 general elections, where persons have accessed identification cards and voted in the name of the dead and other absent persons. In other news, the government on Tuesday announced its first withdrawal from the Natural Resource Fund, or the oil account, to the Consolidated Fund, which it said will help to finance its national development priorities. The Ministry of Finance said $200 million, equivalent to $41.7 billion in local currency, has been transferred in accordance with Section 16 of the NRF Act of 2021. It went on to say that the NRF Act, which came into operation on January 1st, 2022, represents a significant improvement in transparency and accountability and the overall management of the natural resources wealth of Guyana for present and future generations. The NRF Act was hurriedly passed in the National Assembly on December 29, 2022, amid an in-house protest staged by the opposition members of Parliament, who were clamoring for the then proposed bill to be sent to the Special Select Committee for consultations to inform the key legislation. Other members of civil society had also echoed this call, but the administration ignored these views and rushed to pass the bill. In other news, 20-year-old Princess Williams, who was found guilty of attempting to extort $10 million from her ex-boyfriend by claiming that she would make a police report saying that he attempted to rape her, was on Wednesday charged for attempting to escape from police custody. Williams of Block 3 Providence, East Bank Demerara, appeared before Principal Magistrate Shuttle Isaacs Marcus in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts for attempting to escape from lawful custody. She denied the charge. The court heard that Williams was a prisoner at the East La Penitence police station when she complained of feeling unwell and was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital to seek medical attention. It was stated that after being looked after, Williams escaped after asking to use the washroom. An alarm was raised and she was later found on Thomas and Lamaha streets with a cloth wrapped around her hands, hiding the handcuff. In other news, editor-in-chief of the state-controlled Guyana Chronicle, Tedra Mohabir, on Wednesday survived, at least for now, a petition signed by 23 staff of the editorial department calling for his sacking after the dramatic intervention by Minister of Public Affairs Kwame McCoy. Moments after a general meeting chaired by McCoy, Mohabir, buoyed by the defeat of the petition, likened it to an act of mischief and signaled out two members of the staff as the chief cook and bottle washers. However, the staff in their petition, which was dispatched to President Irfan Ali, said Mohabir is self-centered, lacks leadership skills, and was leading people who have no confidence in him. The 23 members of staff represent around 95% of the staff complement of the editorial department, which Mohabir presides over. In the petition, dated May 9, 2022, the staff accused Mohabir of causing several resignations from the company within the last 2 years. In other news, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has signed a new order which will pave the way for the Health Act to be updated to cover some 16 already functional immunization programs under the Ministry of Health. Minister Anthony spoke of the decision to have the Health Act amended to cover all vaccination programs that are currently available to the public. Minister Anthony said that during the observance of Vaccination Week in the Americas, he took the issue before Cabinet for approval to have the legislation expanded to cover the entire vaccination program. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 cases continue to climb here, with the Ministry of Health recording 56 new cases on Wednesday. 4 persons are listed as being in the intensive care unit. The 56 new cases have pushed the total confirmed cases in the country to 63,884. The total number of deaths stands at 1,228. And just before we go, we now turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7, that is dedicated to being blunt. Norton losing his way. Someone needs to speak to Aubrey Norton, and he or she needs to do so quickly. He came to power at Congress Place with enormous goodwill and expectations from a frustrated constituency that was deceived by their leaders following the March 2020 elections. He has said some good things thus far, but his behavior makes him ripe for a one-term leader of the PNCR. Mr. Norton has to understand that his supporters and Guyanese at large are impatient. Citizens are not enamored by his looks or his mouthing off. They want real action. Him challenging Vice President Bharat Jagdeo for a debate on the elections comes across very juvenile. 2 years into a runway administration with little checks and balances and an impotent and sometimes incompetent opposition, Norton would better be advised to pick his battle carefully. If he needs things to do, we can suggest a few. Press for the renegotiation of the lopsided Exxon contract. Have your MPs go on the ground and meet citizens rather than posting on Facebook all day. Get involved in the affairs of this nation, especially those expensive projects the government is undertaking. After all the talks, some fat ones too. Norton has been in the position for quite some time now and has not made any discernible impact. A tired, impatient, and frustrated nation awaits action. And that brings us to the end of today's main newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or